Now available in paperback and e-readers. Spellbound, a darker shade of black. Get your copy today at your favorite online bookseller. A white male British artist, Mark Quinn, erected a statue of a black woman with her fist raised in a Black Power salute in a place of a statue where 17th century slave trader Edward Colston once stood. Now, this statue of slave trader Edward Colston was toppled by members of Black Lives Matter in the UK, and this artist decided to replace that statue with a statue of this black woman. Now, people are celebrating this statue as a symbol of empowerment, but when I take a critical examination of this statue that was erected in the place of that slave trader, it shows how we have gone from the matriarchy replacing the slave trader, and it shows the complete emasculation of black men, because this symbolic gesture is designed to show that the black woman is the one that is recognized as the leader over the black community, and that this symbolic gesture, just like the images presented in Rolling Stone and Time magazine, are designed to socially engineer the idea that the black woman is the leader of the black community, and the black woman is the head of the black community and the one who will speak on the issues of the black community. And that message that is sent through this statue and those images is designed to emasculate the black man, because it should be the black man speaking out on the issue of police brutality and police violence, and he should be the one representing these issues, because he is the one who is targeted for racial profiling by these rogue police officers, these white suburban commandos, and these race soldiers out here, and this is his issue. However, what's happened to the black man is because he is so weak here in the United States, he has allowed these women to take charge. Moreover, these whites and non-blacks, they are taking her image and using her image to be the representative as related to leadership in the black community. So this statue is, as an empty symbolic gesture, passive-aggressive statement. One, passively saying that they're supporting Black Lives Matter, but aggressively rubbing it in the face of black men, letting them know that they do not see black men as leaders, they do not see black men as authority figures, nor do they see a black man's life mattering, because if they have to go to the black female in order to see her as an authority figure, they don't need to regard the black man's life. That's what's happening here with these images and these statues. White supremacy is sending a message as how they see black people, but most of your black men, they're not critically thinking about what these gestures mean, because these images, like the one we saw in Rolling Stone, like the ones we see in Time magazine, and like this statue right here, these are all gestures to show that they do not see a black man as anybody who they see as having value in their society, and not seeing a black man as somebody with power they need to acknowledge. So that's really troubling, because here we have the murder of George Floyd, and your Black Lives Matter basically has used George Floyd's murder and used his casket as a stepping stone to push their single mother and alphabet agenda. And then we have this white male artist then stepping on that casket by making this empty symbolic gesture, trying to play to the black woman's ego, because when you go out here and make statues of black women, this plays to their ego and makes them feel good. And because they're feeling good, they can't see that all they want to do is get themselves a little recognition at their expense, but not really give you anything as related to substance. And because most women are just happy with getting their feelings sated, they don't see how they're being played by these predators out here, like this white artist who wants to make this statue of this member of the Black Lives Matter movement in an empty symbolic gesture that gets him recognition and gets him attention, but does not help move the cause forward. And this is how your cause for getting justice for George Floyd is winding up getting hijacked, because you have black females leading the charge, and they're willing to take any attention from any person, even though that attention does not further their agenda. And this is why black men have to be the ones who go out here and speak for themselves and speak on their issues, because it's clear to me that your Black Lives Matter is just completely getting sidetracked, and this is done deliberately by these white supremacists on the left and the right, because what they want to do is distract you from the goals that need to be accomplished. And the goal we should be focused on is getting justice for George Floyd, keeping the pressure on these politicians and law enforcement officials, and letting them know that we demand that these rogue officers be held accountable for the crime of murdering George Floyd, and they should be punished for that crime. And we should also be demanding reforms as related to dealing with these rogue and brutal cops and these race soldiers and these suburban commandos, like the ones who murdered Ahmaud Arbery, and these Karens who are out here abusing the law enforcement system, racially profiling black men, and trying to get them murdered by Klan on demand. There should be an agenda towards getting black people a boundary as related to how police treat black people, so that we can get law enforcement in our communities without us having to deal with violence from rogue officers, race soldiers, and these suburban commandos and these Karens. We should be working towards that standard. Unfortunately, that is not a part of Black Lives Matter's agenda, because Black Lives Matter's agenda is not about working towards getting black men justice or improving the quality of life for black men, because it is not an organization created by black men or to focus on black men's issues. No, Black Lives Matter was started by 3 lesbian women, and they don't understand the issues that heterosexual black men deal with in the United States as related to racial profiling, as related to police brutality, and as related to police excessive force. So they don't understand our issues, but they want to speak on our issues. And when they go out here and speak on our issues, what they do is they get distracted and they get caught up in trying to push their own agendas after stepping over George Floyd's casket. And then they get further distracted by people like this white male artist, Mark Quinn, who is only looking to get his name out there at black people's expense. And that only happens because your black female, in some cases, is extremely gullible and is caught up in her ego. She's thinking getting a statue erected of herself is going to get attention for the cause, but this is all about getting distracted once more. And passively, yes, they made a statue of a black woman, but aggressively, they took a shot at black men, and that statue was to say that black male leadership is weak, black male leadership is something they don't need to respect, and black male leadership is something they don't need to regard. And when they see an authority figure in the black community, they see the black woman as the leader, they see the black woman as an authority figure, and they see the black man as nothing at all. And like in the case of the Rolling Stone article cover, they see the black man as a child, and nobody, again, they need to see in any way, shape, or form as any sort of leader, authority figure, or anyone who needs to represent their issues, because this woman has all the power, and that woman was given all the power by whites on the left in the 1960s and 1970s here in the United States. She was made the de facto leader over the black community. She was made the de facto head of household after your leftists and the feminists decided to remove the father with welfare policies from the home and promote as part of their integrationist plan. And as that de facto leader, she is the one they see and acknowledge as one in power. And this statue cements that statement further on, because you have to understand this statue and those paintings on Time magazine and Rolling Stone's covers are all about not only giving us symbolism, but also about trying to reinforce an idea in people's minds. So this is partially social engineering, because what they want to do is socially engineer the idea that a black man is not someone you should see as a leader, socially engineer the idea that a black man is someone you should not see as an authority figure, and that a black man cannot speak for himself, he cannot speak on his causes, he cannot speak on his issues. And that's the message they want to send to the world, that we don't see a black man as somebody who should speak. But God made the black man to be the head of household. God made the black man to be the leader over the black community. Unfortunately, white supremacy does not want the black man to be in his leadership role, and they go out of their way with these campaigns to undermine black male leadership, black male authority, and it should be black men speaking for themselves. And they don't want to hear from black men because they don't want to really give you an agenda. They want to sate the ego of the black woman, tell her what she wants to hear, and give her empty gestures and platitudes and make her feel good without giving you any sort of constructive change. People don't really see the chess game going on with these gestures, but when I look at these gestures, I see how empty they are, and I see how these empty gestures are all about undermining the black community so that we don't get justice for George Floyd, we don't get boundaries set for a black man as related to his rights in this country, and we don't get legal precedent set so that black men have a line in the sand to put in place to deal with the rogue cops, the brutal cops, the Karens, and the other suburban commandos who want to terrorize and racially profile black men. All of this is done to undermine us, and many of the black men, they're too busy being silent, or they're being cowardly, like your Christian Cooper and your Terry Crews and many others. They're too busy looking to keep their crumbs coming from the master's table, instead of standing up and being men and standing up for black men and representing black manhood and black masculinity and showing that a black man's life matters because a black man is going to stand up and speak for himself. And what's troubling most of all about this statue is it shows that nobody in the world, because this statue was erected in the United Kingdom, sees the black man in America as someone they need to respect, as someone they need to regard, or somebody they see as a leader or an authority figure. When it comes down to those positions, they don't see a black man in a man's role, No, they see a black woman in a man's role. And because they see a black woman in a man's role, they again make another passive aggressive assault saying that the black woman is masculine and the black man is feminine. And this is the racism that is put behind these types of statues and images. And this is the type of images and statues people aren't really thinking about, because these guys play to the black woman's emotions and her feelings, and she's just so flattered for any attention she receives that she can't see how she's being insulted and how this insults the black man, and says that the black man is not a man and his life doesn't matter because they don't see him as a man. If you want to pick up some of my men's issues books to learn more about manhood and masculinity, you can pick up my books like Stop Simping and The Man Crisis on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle formats. You can also find them on Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. And if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, and my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, The Temptation of John Haynes. Give in to temptation and pick up this action-packed African-American paranormal romance. Get The Temptation of John Haynes in paperback and e-readers today.